How many of you believe that jackfruit has seen a rebirth in Kerala? Raise your hands. It took 12 years. I still remember in 2013, the Manorama Sunday supplement, where I was put under a jackfruit tree, and the title was 5-Star Chaka. And it was chefs like Chef Nalan, the 5-star chefs whom I knew at Microsoft, who helped me to rebrand jackfruit by placing jackfruit in the 5-star dishes and getting media to come and experience jackfruit in a 5-star way. That is the first we launched by repositioning jackfruit as from a commodity to an aspirational brand. That was the first part of it. But then accidentally we uncovered a significant health benefit. Somebody who was taking insulin for 5 years, one night replaced his cup of rice with 1 cup of Kerala's traditional jackfruit meal or chakapulka. And when he took his normal dose of insulin, he had a severe hypoglycemia, and he reached out to me to narrate this experience. Now, I have no background in medicine or in research. I left Microsoft to write a book, God's Own Office for Penguin. Okay? And that led to my chance encounter with jackfruit. But the reason I'm here is because, and thank you Dr. G. Ramesh for inviting me, and Mr. Jairaj for inviting me here, because the topic is Renaissance. And I had a lengthy conversation with Dr. G. Ramesh about the definition of a salad. World over, Mediterranean salad or Mediterranean diet is considered as the world-class diet for health. For all metabolic diseases, if you consume Mediterranean salad or Mediterranean diet, it is healthy for you. So when I was living in the US, Caesar salad would be something which I would take when I have had too much food in a holiday. Okay, so eating salad is the best way to correct excess food. Now, and Chef Nalan mentioned about avial and thoran. I don't know, Dr. G. Ramesh, I don't know if you remember our conversation about avial and thoran. Is avial and thoran a salad? How many of you think it is a salad? The salad is supposed to be uncooked, right? So what happens when you cook a vegetable? There's only one thing which makes a vegetable not a salad when you cook. If you lose a specific fiber called soluble fiber. And the soluble fiber, you lose it when you boil vegetables and you drain. Because soluble fiber is water soluble, it goes with the water. Okay? If you steam cook it, it is retained in the vegetable itself. So thoran and avial are only steam cooked. So they are as good as salad. Okay? Now this is what we call fantasy, but you need to convert that to fact. Now what did I do? To prove that the jackfruit chakapulka is a salad, like a Mediterranean salad, I had to convert the fantasy to fact. And how did I do that? And just to know, if you look at nature.com, if you search for jackfruit, you will see 2 studies, peer-reviewed and published. One on how the green jackfruit flour, and based on an ask from Dr. Kalam, I invented a flour from the green jackfruit flour or pachachaka podi. Reason for that is, Dr. Kalam gave me one wisdom. It is easier to change religion than to change eating habits. So if you can use the unripe or the green pachachaka to reduce rice and wheat, like what this person who was taking insulin had done, it's a given that it cannot have similar glycemic load. So the high fiber meal always translates to low absorption of sugar. And jackfruit is extremely high in fiber. Okay? And low in carbohydrate, low in calories. So it is fundamental medical nutrition therapy. But you can't change eating habits. It takes 90 minutes and 4 hands to prepare jackfruit. It's too time consuming. So Dr. Kalam gave me the idea, and then how do we add this to roti, idli, dosa? That is when through engineering we were able to make the jackfruit flour from the unripe jackfruit, so you can add this to your atta or your idli dosa, and you can reduce rice and wheat. And then we put it through a clinical trial, like a drug trial through a randomized controlled trial at a medical college. One set of people were given the jackfruit flour, other group were given rice flour and wheat flour. And in 90 days, the group which had the jackfruit flour had an HbA1c reduction, while the group which had the rice flour had an increase in HbA1c. That was sent to the American Diabetes Association's conference in Chicago, and that is what got published. And then because of that, we won the National Startup Award. And that is what triggered the rebirth of jackfruit. The National Startup Award gave me a 2 minutes live interaction with Prime Minister Modi, and that video went viral, and all of a sudden my work shifted from Kerala to national. For 1 full month, we overtook the #1 wheat flour brand in India on Amazon. After Maggi noodles and Tata Salt, we were the #3 bestseller on Amazon. Okay, so from where we a chance discussion, is this a salad? Is it healthy? Okay, and we know diabetes is a big problem in Kerala, right? It's a huge problem in India. But once the study got published, when doctors and nutritionists started recommending the jackfruit flour for diabetes, I started getting more results. It's not just for diabetes. So how many of you think fatty liver and diabetes are interlinked? How many of you think that? Okay, so fatty liver is much earlier than diabetes. And I had this discussion with Professor Roy Taylor of Newcastle University. He told me the excess carbohydrate or excess rice and wheat which we consume gets stored in our liver first, and then it gets to the pancreas. When it gets to the pancreas, you get to diabetes. So if you want to prevent diabetes, you reverse fatty liver. And doctors and nutritionists started telling me, okay, James, it's not only reducing HbA1c, it is actually reducing fatty liver. Then we put it through a second study at JSS Medical College in Mysore, and in 2024, I presented the data on how jackfruit flour is reversing fatty liver to prevent diabetes at the American Society for Nutrition Conference in Chicago in 2024. And then I revealed that information at the TEDx in Mumbai, and that video was a bigger hit because 1 in 3 people in India have fatty liver. If 1 in 10 people have diabetes, 1 in 3 people in India have fatty liver. And that video became a global hit, one of the top 3 TEDx videos worldwide with 1.3 million views. And because of that, today, Jackfruit365 has crossed, this month has crossed 14,000 reviews on Amazon. Okay? It's because of these 2 clinical studies which we published in a world famous journal. We are now a scientific evidence accepted by the medical community, and that is why we have 14,000 reviews on Amazon. To get 14,000 reviews, you need 7 lakh customers. And because of those customers, I could source 530 million jackfruit from the farmers in 1 panchayat. That is the rebirth of jackfruit. This jackfruit was going waste. I could source the jackfruit, convert that to the flour, and then give it to 7 lakh people across India. So that is my contribution. But what I'm saying is, this is what it took to have a rebirth or renaissance of jackfruit. It's not just jackfruit. Our avial and thoran, we had to bring it back. We had to do such studies, and that is when we can get our health back in Kerala. And together with Rotary, we should be able to do this. We should be able to make Kerala more healthy. Thank you.